Good morning, this is Donna Reiners, and I've had a message stewing for the last couple of days, and it's called the unbelief system. To control or not to control? This is the question. I have my notes. So what do I mean? This person who is a religious person, a controlling person, needs to control in order to feel safe. This person does not listen and does not want to hear. This person is my way or the highway. That describes my dad. Now, my dad passed away a long time ago, but that totally describes my dad. This person leaves very room for your way or Yahweh. This person may love God, but deep within, they've agreed to so many lies and so many action plans about themselves or humanity or God. What do I mean by action plan? Like a vow that keeps them from making new decisions because they made that decision to feel safe, to feel safe, to feel safe. This person has little patience for you or others when they cannot control their environment. And this person leaves little to no room for error from those around them. Listen, religion is an unbelief system. Religion can appear confident, very confident, but yet on the inside, there's a bunch of fear. On the inside, there's a bunch of fear of being found out or having someone else take them over. A person who lives by unbelief needs to be controlled and needs to be told what to do and when to do it in order to feel safe. So we have the emotion of control on this side, where this person needs to control in order for them to feel safe. So everything is the way they want it. And then we have this person over here that needs to be controlled so that they feel safe, so that they're responsible for only what the person who controls them is doing. I hope that makes sense. So control or not to control? That's the question. Religion or relationship? Unbelief or belief? Those are our choices as we interact through life. So, short story. I grew up in a very safe unbelief system. I was afraid to even hear someone reject me. If I asked a teacher a question, I asked my parents a question, I was like, just write it down on a piece of paper. Give me your answer on a piece of paper. I did not want to hear their answer. I was so afraid that they would tell me no or that they would deny me or something like that. And denial feels like rejection to a person who feels unsafe already. And so I grew into an adult looking confident, but unsure of every step I made. But no one knew it because I appeared confident. Why? Because I kept things on the inside. I had to keep it together. I had to look like I had it all going on, when honestly, I was clueless. So, I needed to be controlled by someone else because otherwise I did not feel safe. And so I attracted people who wanted to control because they only felt safe if they were controlling things. Isn't that a great relationship? Anyway, I'm not this same person anymore, but I protected myself through being controlled. That is how I lived. And that's how religion is today. Religion controls people who need to be controlled. Look, I know I'm going totally off of what I have. There are totally situations I have learned about and I know about where a husband and a wife were having issues, and the pastor or the religious person who's the man would get in the middle of it because one of them would ask for help, and then that man would say, well, this is the way it is. You got to do this. And then, wow, that wife or that man would come underneath that and then separate this completely. And usually, not always, but usually that pastor was just controlling. I know situations where even it ended up with It ended up with the spouse leaving to be with that pastor because they felt safe being controlled by that person. Oh my gosh. So anyway, that was a long time ago. It's not who I am anymore, but I know I deal with a lot of clients who need to feel safe, safely controlled, or they need to control. They're both the same. They're both an unbelief system. So if this is you, what do? Ask God to reveal where you have not trusted him. Maybe it was even in childhood. Maybe it's the reason you can't hear today, because you have this belief system about yourself or humanity that's based on fear. Or you have made these action plans on the inside of you based on fear. And so you're going this direction and you have no room for none of this. Now, if you hit blockages and you can't seem to hear the voice of God, or if the voice of God comes to you very controlling, then that's not the voice of God, because God is relational. He's not like this. So if you hit blockages and you still find yourself unwilling or unwanting to change, and you're cognizant, I don't want to change. I really just don't want to change. I'm good. I don't need anything. Well, then you have issues. Get with someone who can help you walk through and hear God on specific areas where you've agreed to be fear-based, agreed to be in unbelief. Now, if you're with someone who does not listen to you, if you're with someone who's religious, change your mind about where you have taken their inability to hear you personally, because it is so not about you. It is so not about you. They are not, they're not mad at you. They're just limited. And if they're limited in hearing you, they're limited in hearing God. They're limited in hearing other people. So it's not really personally about you. Also, forgive yourself and forgive them. Man, and rock on. This does not mean that you have to marry that person. This does mean you have to be willing to put your bitterness underneath your feet, because bitterness is your enemy, and it wants to be your ally. But bitterness is an enemy, not a friend. Not a friend. Unforgiveness is not a friend. It feels good, but it's not a friend. It's an unbelief system who won't forgive. And if you're the one who felt accused, then you need to release the accuser into the love of God. This is all about receiving the love of God. This is all about being blocked from the love of God. That's all unbelief is. Not trusting the one who loves us more than anyone. Getting all up and close with God. You can't get all up and close with God if you don't trust him. If you have no belief. No desire to let go of your fears. God is not fear-based. God is not religious-based. God is relational-based. And this, I'm going to give you some examples. So, religious people say, well, I don't hear you talking about Jesus in here. Well, this is the deal. Jesus got in a conversation with a Samaritan woman, I remember, and he totally got accused about that. It's like, what are you doing talking to a Samaritan woman? What's the deal? Well, you know what? He didn't just talk with her. He had a conversation with her. A conversation with a race of people. He wasn't supposed to have, they may not be a race, but a race of people he was not supposed to even talk to or be seen with. And secondly, with a woman. Women were lower than cattle then. So, bam, 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 Jesus is all about freeing people. He freed her through actually having a relationship with her, having a conversation with her. And man, she was set free and took off running to tell everybody, oh my gosh, I met someone who knew everything about me. The proof was in the pudding with him. Also, the woman caught in adultery. He might have only had a short conversation with her, but he did have a conversation with her. And he talked to an adulterer, someone who'd just been accused. Of course, now, he laid down all the situation with all the people who accused her, which were all law-abiding citizens, by the way, religious base. And he basically said, really? Well, who are you who hadn't been with her? You religious people. So they left their rocks and took off. But he had a conversation with her in public. And also, he got accused of eating. Him and his disciples all got accused of eating with sinners, whoever they are. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I don't know. I'm happy today. And with tax collectors. Then tax collectors were like women. They didn't want nothing to do with them either. But you cannot tell me they all had dinner and they didn't have conversation. Come on, that's what we do. We have conversation at the table, and we have conversation with people around us when we're eating and in community. So we have relationships with all these people that the religious people, the unbelief people, didn't want anything to do with. So I just want to encourage you today. If you find yourself being the one who is trapped in unbelief, you don't trust, so you got to control, or you don't trust and you need to be controlled. Let me say that again. You don't trust, so you need to control in order to feel safe, or you don't trust and you need to be controlled in order to feel safe. If you're that person, then I implore you to ask Holy Spirit, say, God, I'll even give you an action step. Put your hand right here. God, show me. Put your hand right here. Right here, right here, right here. Just a little above your heart. God, show me. Show me, Lord, where I don't listen, or show me where I can't hear. Show me if I need to be controlled in order to feel safe. Show me if I need to control in order to feel safe. Because God, I know that's not who you are, and that's not who I want to be. That's right. Unbelief system is not your friend. And see, what will the results be if you choose not to have an unbelief system? If you choose to say, Father, I want to move in a different direction. Father, I want to be free from this that holds me into either controlling or being controlled. I want to be free. What the results could be is trusting Him more with the real you who wants to change and who needs to change. Look, if you're at a place where you don't feel like you need to change, well, then you're trapped anyway. Because we all need to change. God is not going to be the one who changes. We're the one who get the absolute privilege to change and to live different and to be different and to go from being sad to joyful, to go from being fear-based to love-based. We all get that opportunity on this side on this planet. Secondly, the result of trusting, the result of asking God to help you with your unbelief system would be having your ears open so you can listen with more intentionality. Maybe have a conversation with the people with you where you actually hear what they have to say, and then you dialogue instead of figuring out what you're going to say before they even say what they're going to say, so you're feeling safe so that you already know what you're going to say so that you can respond and you don't even know what they're going to say. Isn't that the reality of how we are? Also, you could receive the love of God in ways you have not in the past. And if you don't know what that looks like, well, it's going to be different for every person. God may open up doors for you. He might nudge you in your heart and say, oh, I'm here for you. I love you. He might do something supernatural. He might send a friend your way. There's all sorts of things that God does to reveal the love of God to us in a personal way. Also, positioning yourself for promotion in financial areas because of fresh wisdom you can hear. Open your ears to hear when you're not controlling or being controlled can open your opportunities because God can position you in some type of promotion because you're hearing fresh wisdom that gives you fresh abilities, fresh education, fresh understanding, fresh avenues, fresh ways of living. And also, you can experience God's kindness in fresh ways. God is kind. He's kind. Listen, He confronts, but He's kind. He's to the point, but He's kind. He corrects, but He's kind. He doesn't lose a relationship with you when He's telling you what He wants you to do if you're doing something He's not happy with. He is kind as He communicates. And also, you will have eyes to see the person you're closest with differently, including yourself. You can see the people around you differently, and you can see yourself differently. Oh my gosh. Let's see ourselves through the love of God, guys. Let's see ourselves as someone who can trust Him. Listen, unbelief works in so many different ways inside of us. We may not even understand it. And we may think, oh, I am totally believing in everything. But I challenge you, are you? Are you really? Be open to having God show you an area that maybe needs to be healed so that you can be all you want to be and you can receive all He wants you to receive, and that all the inheritance that is really yours through relationship, you can honestly walk out with Him in real time on this side. Don't wait for heaven. Don't wait for heaven to know God. Know God here. Know God today. It's all about relationship, not religion. It's relationship. It's belief. It's love. It's not a great big hammer controlling you or controlling me. Okay, that's my message today. An unbelief system to control or not to control. This is the question with Donna Reiners. Please share this video if it encouraged you and strengthened you in some way. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.